So I didn't just go and see the eclipse. I drove 4.5 hours to make sure I saw it in 100% totality. So I'm from Kentucky, and there was a place in Kentucky that was gonna have 100% totality, but where I'm at on the map is not close to that point. I was actually closer to a spot in Indiana, which was supposed to be about a 3.5 hour drive, normally without eclipse traffic. But since the eclipse was going on, there was gonna be so much traffic in those major cities, I went around the cities and took the scenic route. Also, I left my house at like the crack of dawn. I am definitely not used to getting up so early. My Snapchat story kind of puts it in perspective, like how I was feeling. I absolutely hate rushing, especially first thing in the morning. I'm so tired. I'm still tired. I'm also not used to leaving my 2 babies alone all day. I wanted to take them with me, but I didn't. So unfortunately, I had to say bye. Bye, Jasper. Bye, baby. I'm gonna miss my animals so much. I wish they could come with me to see the eclipse, but they don't have glasses, so. We packed our cooler and everything. We were so excited to just get there and see the eclipse, but my car had other plans. It wanted to reroute me like a million times. We literally ended up driving around for 30 minutes and then ended up back at my house. So since we're already running late at this point, I definitely wasn't taking my time on the way there. I was pretty much booking it. I'm actually really surprised and proud of myself that I did so well driving such a far distance. If you don't know, I actually used to live in my car for over a year, and I would drive and travel everywhere all the time. I even drove all the way to South Carolina, stayed there for a month, and then drove all the way back to Kentucky. But then, after I lived in my car and moved into my apartment, which has been over a year now, which is crazy, but my car was just really run down, so run down. I stopped driving it for such a long time. Like, it had been probably close to a year since I had drove a car when I got my new car that I'm driving to the eclipse. So I've actually had a little bit of anxiety and I was a little nervous to just drive such a far distance, but I wasn't alone. My boyfriend came with me and he kept asking me if I wanted to let him drive, but I said no. I just like driving and being in control of the car, and it makes me feel better. The only thing that would have made it better is if I could have took Millie with me. I still need to get one of those backseat dog covers, and then I'm just gonna start taking her places. Like, she just needs to go out somewhere and run around crazy. But I just got my new car and she has claws. So I definitely need to run to PetSmart or something first and just get one of those covers. And that would have just made things so much better. Even just having that extra distraction in the back seat would have taken like more stress off of the driving. But truly, I think the reason that I wasn't bothered is because the entire drive there was so gorgeous and the sun was rising. We drove through tons of hills and valleys and like past tons of farms and farm animals. And we had to cross over the river, so we had to go across this long bridge. It was just an insane long drive in itself. Oh, and once I hit the highway, there were tons of cops that were speed checking people, and I just so happened to be speeding. So I got pulled over for being a speed demon. But luckily, he let me off with a warning and we got back on the road. I lied. Quick pee break. Once we got there, we still had like 45 minutes left until it was actually 100% totality. So we hung out, took pictures, ate cake. The cake was so cute. I literally saw that and I had to get it. Like, how perfect was that for the eclipse? When the eclipse first started, it looked like a little Pac-Man in the sky. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I had never seen an eclipse in my life. I heard about the one in 2017. I never saw it. I must have missed the news back then or something. But I only heard about these things in like movies and like scary movies. So in all honesty, I'm like not knowing what to expect. If you don't know a lot about this year's eclipse, you're not alone, because I didn't know anything either. Like I said, like I had no idea that these things even existed or were real, and especially look the way that it looked. Like, it blew my mind. But basically, an eclipse is when the moon completely covers the sun and there's a sunrise / sunset look all the way around the earth, like a 360 view, which you would never see on a regular day. And then it creates this glowy ring around the moon, and for some reason I expected it to be like a dim orange or yellow color, but it was very surprisingly like an LED bright white. One thing you cannot do is look at the solar eclipse without the special glasses. I thought that maybe that was just for seeing the sun, like you wouldn't be able to see it as good without the glasses, but no, you need to wear them to protect your eyes. I've read stories now where people have literally damaged their eyes up to a year later. They haven't gotten their full vision back because they looked at the solar eclipse without the glasses. So it's like super important to keep them on the entire time. Also, I didn't know the same thing applies to your phone. So if you're trying to take pictures of the sun without a filter over your phone, like putting the glasses over the lens, you could also permanently damage your camera the same exact way. It's also basically impossible to take a picture or look at it without the glasses anyway, so. It's also extremely bright because the moon is going in front of the sun, and the only thing that is still showing is the outer bright rays, which is what gives off the UVs and burns our skin. So on a normal day, it being 75 degrees outside, you could be outside for hours and really not get that much sun. But being in the solar eclipse for an hour is like taking a trip to the tanning bed. So even if it feels good outside and it's cool outside, I would definitely suggest wearing some sunscreen. I know that I should have, but I'm looking up through my glasses and I just keep waiting and waiting. You can see it getting closer to being fully covered. It's like about halfway, and I'm thinking to myself, when it gets fully covered by the moon, it's probably gonna look the same color, like just an orange ring, but all the way around. And I was like, that'll be cool. That'll be so cool. Little did I know how much cooler it was actually gonna be. So right before it's fully covered, I hit record on my camera. I want to catch the moment when the moon is like fully covering the sun. And I'm so glad that I did. I'll let you watch this. So wait, let me tell you. First, I didn't know what to expect, right? So when the moon was covering the sun, I heard people screaming, wow, wow, wow. So I kind of took my glasses off and turned around, because what I seen in my glasses was everything just went dark. No ring, no nothing, just complete blackness in my glasses. So I was like, oh, you know, and in my head I was kind of like, is this it? It wasn't until I turned back around that's when I seen the ring, the crazy ring in the sky. I was literally too shocked to speak. I put on my glasses and I just was like, this was the most amazing thing I had seen in my life. Little did I know while seeing it that it was gonna be the last time anyone would see it for the next 20 years. And in 20 years, when it does happen, it'll be over the Pacific Ocean. I'm actually so glad that I took the 4.5-hour drive to go see it, because it was so worth it. Like, I can't even explain the way that everyone felt. Everyone was screaming, and you look around and it's so dark. It was probably a good 78 degrees outside before the moon completely covered the sun. As soon as it was completely covered, it dropped temperature and it was freezing out. But the crazy thing is, because the moon was covering the sun and the only thing showing was its rays, which is the hottest part of the sun and the part of the sun that burns us, just from being there and being under the eclipse for an hour, I got really sunburned. And because of the shirt I was wearing, it left the same imprint on my back. When the moon started moving and the sun came back out, it was the same thing. Everyone was screaming and clapping. I think everyone was just like, yay, the world didn't end. It was like the craziest. I can't even explain how beautiful and like mesmerizing it was. All that I have to say is I will definitely be taking the drive to go and see anything worth seeing or amazing like that. That was obviously out of this world, but I haven't seen enough of the world. I want to start traveling more, taking the drive to go and see things, experiencing things that I haven't before, and showing everything to you. So literally, this is just like vlog 1 of the travel vlog. We need to get going places. I've already been to California and shown you LA. We're thinking about going back at the end of this month, but you need to give me like suggestions. Tell me where your heart desires to go, and we will go to every cool thing around that area and experience it together. This was such a cool experience. I got the craziest photos. I don't know when I'll ever see this again in my lifetime. So I'm so glad that I actually took the drive and just recorded every moment so that we could experience it together. If you like this video, then you should like it. And if you're not subscribed, then you should probably, definitely, maybe please subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
I can't mess with rappers, they be bogus. Rather get the pack and keep it open. Big dripper, stand up in